First off, when you listen to anything, in my view, in this vein, you gotta take the periods and the commas off. You gotta receive it like as an open-ended statement, and then let the mind, add on and entertain. Yeah. So, because we had this example with one of the people that was here last week. So we had this reading, Ramana, famous thing. First he starts to say that if realization was outside of us, he makes this statement, if, which isn't true, but if realization was outside of us, then I'm going to paraphrase, but then there could be paths that would suit your predilections, like, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, and you would be able to arrive at it, a realization. Yeah, and if realization was outside of you, then you could have thoughts about when is it going to happen, and how is it going to happen. But the fact is, realization isn't outside of us. So then he goes right into this story about this lady who has a necklace and she loses the necklace, and then she starts asking all her friends to, hey, help her find the necklace, and no one can seem to find the necklace, and she gets really sort of bummed out and everything. And then someone comes along and she asks them, can you help me find the necklace? Maybe they went to a meeting of finding necklaces, and they went, and then the person says, yeah, it's on your neck. Yeah, and so she suddenly has this great rush that she found the lost necklace. Yeah. And when she hadn't found the lost necklace, she was bummed out, very bummed out. And then suddenly she finds it, and then there's a bliss arises, yes? But in fact, she never lost the necklace or found the necklace. It was always available at all times. So the necklace obviously wasn't the cause of the bliss, nor was it the cause of the sorrow, in a sense. It was just the necklace. That she was actually the cause of the bliss and the sorrow, yeah? The bliss wasn't determined on the necklace because the necklace had always been there. The bliss was determined on what she thought about the necklace, yeah? When she seemed to have it, then bliss was available. When she seemed to lose it, then bliss wasn't available. She was bummed out. Now, we say it's clearly in AA, recovery, this is an example of playing God. So we here play God with the idea of God. We make God an object or a goal, and then we judge ourselves on how far or how close we are to it. And then basically, if we get closer, then maybe these possibilities will arise, but as soon as you feel like you're far away, the possibilities diminish. But it has nothing to do with the goal, because the goal is truly always available at all times, with no requirement necessary. Now it seems to be only available when you're around, and there's a lot of requirements necessary, and usually based on your side. So it's always available at all times. The necklace has not moved 1 inch, it didn't leave and then come back. It was always there, but that's not, see, her condition wasn't based on the necklace. It was based on the mental state. When she thought she found it, she felt much better than when she thought she lost it. But it had nothing to do with the necklace. It was attributed to the necklace, but it had nothing to do with the necklace. So in this situation, why not see what's playing God? Yeah. And if there's a real, or just a possibility it may not be you, in that case, just maybe the always available at all times condition or nature of the necklace may become obvious. Not to you, but as you. That you are the necklace. You're not the one who had it or lost it. You're the thing that has it and lost it is like a necklace. It's being worn or put on what is to describe it as something other. And now that seeming necklace that seemingly can come and go looks for a necklace with its own nature and its own attributes. Just like we look for God as a thing because we're things. You know, there was a great Russian movie called Solaris where they were totally dumbfounded because they ran into a planet, a big planet that was conscious. And they had a very difficult time getting it because they could only think about what was conscious as a thing. And so they constantly put this frame on, while they were trying to discover consciousness, they had an already prearranged frame that it's going to be a thing, like a small thing that looked like us. They were totally dumbfounded when there was a whole huge planet. Yeah. Why would we waste another minute looking for the necklace? As that which believes a necklace can be lost. Because if you find it, quote unquote, you're bound to lose it again. Because you're not playing by its rules, which is always available all the time. You're playing by your rules, which is some things that are really, really cool are usually really infrequent. Yeah. And it's the basis of that availability in my life has nothing to do with that. It has to do all with me. I've got to do a lot of shit. I've got to do a lot of things to get myself ready to receive the necklace, which is always available at all times. So if the mental state is playing God, it has to make another God to look for. If it has any desire to look for God, I'm telling you, the God it's looking for is another God. It's in the activity of acting like God all day about God. It's only in a couple of places in the world where I can meet it. I've got to go through a strenuous, you know what I mean? And if you believe it, so will it be. Because you're God, in a sense. So as you believe it is, as you believe so it is, you could not say that about a dog. You could not say it about a tree, yeah? But you can say it about us because we're a living activity of that which is. We are the reality. So when the reality has been spun into believing it's something other than reality, it will make things into a reality for it. Because it's reality, and it can lend reality to things. It can, as you believe, so it is. Exactly. It doesn't, the fact is, if you acknowledge so it is, you'd realize all that shit about believing has no effect whatsoever. But if you see it from the one who can believe, as you believe, then that becomes the so it is. So the so it is forgotten. You get a mimicking, you get a substitute that has maybe gods in it, it has all this in it, but it's altered, it's not true. Yeah. And then you play God there. I swear, if you loved a master, complete, like totally, and he was dead, which is the easiest one, so you loved him or her, and then she showed up or he showed up and said, listen, you never needed to do anything in the past, now, or future. And then they disappeared. I bet you'd be meditating in an hour. You'd be sitting there, I gotta get contact again. Yeah? It's such a habit. Yeah. And you would say, oh, if I love them, I love them. Yeah, they can tell you, bingo, and then you're there for 1 hour, okay, okay, you're back on it again. Yeah, right. It's because the habit is so strong that through identification, we're the God. And the mental state worships what it's making. Or as in Buddhism they call it the cherishing of self. You better believe it. It's not like, oh, something stuck on me and I'd love to get it off. You are in a big smooch with it. You are like in a fucking embrace of it. Yeah? You can't get pulled apart. First of all, there's nothing there, but you couldn't get pulled apart if there were two things. You know what I mean? That you're not letting go of that. And see, the thing that doesn't want to let go of it is claimed to be you, but it ain't. The ego, to me, the idea of ego is just an objectification of selfing by selfing. So it goes, oh, this is how I am. I'm this. It's, you know, it's not going anywhere. You studying about an ego doesn't go fucking anywhere. It just selfing claims it, and now selfing knows itself even fucking more. And after like how many $35,000 of payment to people to listen to about, well, right, we're going to deconstruct the ego. With the ego or with the selfing? Good luck. It's like, do you ever see those, what are those things kids play? You stick them again? Legos. You know? It's like, all right, we're going to deconstruct the ego, it's selfing, and it takes it apart and makes it a boat, or makes it a car. It uses the same building blocks. It can make 800 different things out of it. Yeah? This message, humbly, is about nothing. It is about nothing. If you're in one's head and you use this as a skillful means, it will be totally serving you by not producing any fucking thing. It's untouchable. You can try to wield it like a freak. You can try to fornicate with another methodology like psychology and now have non-dual. It's not playing that game. It's just nothing. You can't use it. You can't make it. You can't direct it. It just is. Yeah? And what holds us as this seemingly thing? Identification as it. It's an activity. It's never happened. It can only seem to happen. That's what happens. The head is in a total assumption that you're a thing. Totally, completely. It assumes up the wazoo all these false starting points, and then even if you want to get back to where you are, it's going to make it a long, arduous fucking trip. Yeah? Because as soon as, it says like in that neuroscience, whatever is observed is distorted by the observation. It's distorted by the observation, like that. Yeah, that's how powerful we are. And it's fine. There's no problem unless you're the one who has all the problems. It's not exclusive. Nothing has to get vanquished because there's nothing that was there. It's inclusive. The action figure has its little, it's like a bubble within a bubble. The action figure is one little bubble in a bigger bubble. It has no idea about the bigger bubble whatsoever, and it lives its life as somewhat not that importantly. It's like, how important can a pinto be when it sees thousands of other pintos? Yeah? It's so, you know, and it's just, it has a drive. It likes, you know, it wants to rest, get fed, fornicate, whatever, you know, procreate. It's not like burning down houses anymore. It's very simple. And all the while, there's this big bubble. That's totally cool with it. It probably doesn't even think it's ever happened. It's just, you know? So this assumed relevance that we can cut ourselves off from the truth is just playing God, isn't it? You didn't believe it when you were a kid. When you were a kid, you were not looking at magazine Common Ground. You were not looking at the next symposium to go to. You weren't thinking, oh, how, you know, will I be playing next week? You had no fucking idea of next weekend. Yeah? Something got entertained. Yeah? And it came to, you know, and as we believe, so it is. Seemingly. In the dreaming. That's how it goes. Thank God it's got an expiration date, really. And you also have a daily expiration date when you go to sleep. I mean, it's a pretty good package deal. It's going to end, and you're going to have long interludes where it's not even going to have any influence whatsoever every day if you have the luck to have a place to sleep. Yeah? I mean, that's not bad. That 1/3 of the time, you're out of that which is playing God. Basically, 1/3 of the time. I mean, it's such a, whatever, whatever. I trip when I get these sinus things, so I'm just very unruly today. I just had it. If I had a sword, I'd cut my head off first and I'd cut all your fucking heads. I swear. I'd just be done with it finally. Jesus, and let it roll. And you know what? We're gonna have a good Saturday. Is it gonna be like earth-shaking? Probably not. Can you blog about it? Probably not. Can you take 50 photos of it? Probably not. It's gonna be, but the fact is, there'll be an ease and comfort, chilled out. You're now able to respond to the environment you're in, which is pretty freaking safe. Yes? What more do you really want? All this magic is insane, man. The best way you'll realize what you are is actually a giant lack of interest in it. Literally. You will lose interest in it as a topic. You'll lose interest in it as knowledge. You'll lose interest in it as a future goal. You'll lose interest in it as your peak experience in the past. Yeah, you'll lose interest in all that can be lost interest in. And then that interest and attention will surround you like when, Mount Shasta, they always have those clouds. So because the situation, it creates that. The presence will surround you, which is just stalled interest and attention. It's not being driven or directed in time looking for something, yeah? It's chilled out now. You sense it. You sense it, yeah? It's interest and attention at rest in a sense. It's not agitated, not looking for the next goal, the next thing to distract itself, yeah? It's just, you got plenty to deal with what's happening. And you'll never have enough to deal with what's not happening. You'll never have enough interest and attention to deal with what's not happening. The mental rain will suck you dry, the mental realm. It will put your interest and attention and tweak it out, like thread it out, all the way out, so you're not even here anymore, seemingly. Yeah? There's no sense of present, there's no sense of onness. You've just been so, and now the here that you're thinking you're in is totally manufactured by the mental state. And that here you want to really escape from, and that's how it really has you. By you trying to escape from an imaginary place, that's its perfect fucking bear trap. You're gonna be you trying to escape from the imaginary state. The only response to an imaginary state is to see that it's imaginary. What more or less do you need to do? Nothing more. And this Mount Everest that's never moved, the mental state finds no joy in it, putting a flag there. It's too boring to it. It's too ordinary, really. It hasn't swum a wild river to get to the master on the other side. It hasn't had to drink a concoction of 8 different teas and trip your brains out with a fucking koala bear or something. It has nothing to do with any of it. Your basic condition is the exact same condition that's always been so. Here, the first and the most constant demonstration of it is seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. How much thought and effort have you ever put into seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching? None. And yet it's the basis of this whole event. And the basis, the whole linchpin of everything here, called all our experience, everything, is based on something or nothing that has never demonstrated any thought or effort. How could we believe that something that had thought and effort could lead us to there? It demonstrates no thought or effort. Maybe you'll go through being bummed out for a while, yeah? But I'll tell you, if you can just hold on to nothing, it's gonna become everything, yeah? Don't rush to the next person 3 days from now. You know, just rest. Just not. That sounds like an order. Just whatever. Yeah. Just be. Yeah. And I'll tell you, that nothing will be the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. You'll be finally rooted in something that's rootable. Yes? You will be what you've been looking for. The seeker is the sought. All of those statements are the clearest ones in the annals of spirituality. And now it's clear, and you're resting there. You're not seeking for yourself anymore. Ever. Oof. I really love satsang. I love it because, I mean, I used to, like in recovery, a lot of the greatest effects of recovery came from doing nothing, just sitting in meetings. 28 years, just sitting in meetings, holding the space, probably produced the greatest good of all. Yeah? And here it's very similar. You come here, I hear, you listen, you know, you speak, I hear. It's a shared thing. And then we're dreaming ourselves out of the dream. Yeah? It's funny. It's gonna look, what's already so will look like as if it took time in the dreaming. But when it seems to take root, one of the biggest realizations of it is it's always been that way. So it's funny. You can't negate time when you're thinking you're in time. Doesn't fucking work. But therefore you use what's available, you're being used actually, and then the mind dreams itself out of the dream with the dream stuff, like meetings with people and stuff like that. And as you do, the dream will get happier. Not for infinity, it's gonna speed up its end. It's not, oh, I can have a dream of Paul for, no, it's gonna speed it all up. Yeah, to where? To where we already are at. It's funny, eh? Doesn't make any sense, but it does make a lot of sense if you're in the process of it. Yeah, if you watch what's happening to the action figure, you'll see it's just being used. It's being moved around a board. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. So just stick with us. Yeah. You're gonna keep getting nothing. If you're on the 5-year plan, if you're on the 12-year plan, if you're on the drive-by plan, if you're on the call me and hang up plan, whatever plan it is, please entertain, because not having faith in mind, you've called a different thing mind. The mental state does not deserve any faith, but being a mind deserves faith, yes? Yeah. I think there's a mixing up of it. We're so used to calling this mental activity the mind at the expense of mind, yeah? This mental activity can't see a fucking inch ahead of itself. It's not to be trusted. It's a failed GPS. It'll take you on wild goose chases all freaking day. And you'll get stuck in a place that doesn't have a phone and no gas all the freaking time. And then you get back in the car, turn it on, and then you go, oh, Siri's, get me to there. You know, and it's like, what can a failed system show you? That it's failed. So, yeah, that's it, eh? Yeah, short today. Gotta go home. All right, that's it. Just hit the button.